Time in Truck 200 competition, Kyle Zittel, Ryan Dye will lead the field to the green flag 200 miles at Talladega. So Ryan Dye leads the first.
Contact!
Oh, trouble! Big contact there. 3, 4, 5 trucks around. And the caution is going to fly. That was big trouble there in the mid-pack. Green flag is out.
And DeMade gets a huge jump off the restart. That might come to bite him here in just a second.
A huge run coming there. Here goes Bartel to the lead. He's clear. Zittel is not quite clear. Oh, he's going to... Oh, he was clear. He was barely clear. Holy cow. And Zittel and Bartel sneak through to the lead. And now Kilduff jumping to the outside is actually sort of mixing this field up just a little bit. We got more trucks starting to make some moves throughout the field. Houston trying to push Michael Fish further back. Eric Breeding is thinking about jumping to the outside, it looks like, as Jack Kilduff just moved to the lead. He's not the leader, but he is on point.
So he has unlapped himself another time, technically only one lap down now. Whoa! McKinnon's gonna get torn!
Trouble! 3, 4 trucks. Caution is out. Oh, big problems. And Troy Thomas pulls up to the outside of Dakota DeMade for second.
And he's gonna start getting some help. Kyle Zittel's along with him now too. Would not be surprised to see Troy Thomas.
Whoa! He's gonna go 3 wide. He's going to take that run to the lead, but he's not clear. 3 wide, Zittel leads it.
Whoa, and that was
now
close.
He's clear. Wow.
Thomas
what a
and Cantwell, close corners going into one. And he jumps to the bottom. Oh, there's contact. No, unbelievable.
Wow. That was certainly unnecessary. 1 lap to go.
The question is, will anybody try the third lane here? If they do, I'd guess it would probably maybe start with Leach or Zittel. Oh, a little bit of contact in the back between Thomas and maybe Dumig.
3 wide further back in the pack. Zittel between Leach and Breeding up front. Cantwell trying to shove Vrooman out. Oh, Salamone up the track. That's going to hurt Leach's momentum here. Ryan Dye going to move up in front of Kyle Dumig. Oh, problems. Zittel. Checkers are out. Cantwell looks to the outside. He's got Dye to his outside. Oh, big shot. Breeding. It's going to be Vrooman across the line. He's going to win it.
He's able to corral it. Some more contact between Cantwell and Ryan Dye. You see DeMade and Dumig make contact in the rear as well.
The hits just keep on coming here in the Southeast as we've packed up after a wild race in Talladega, Alabama, to head about 120 miles east to Hampton, Georgia, where the drivers are going to tackle what is proving to be a tricky task here tonight on the 2008 scan of Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's round number 2 of the inaugural season of Truck 200 right here on Turn 200, and we are set for 200 miles, which will be 130 laps around Atlanta tonight, and we've got all the action covered for you. It's Tommy Cook. It is the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. Partner, have you got yourself collected after the finish of last week's race?
I've got myself collected just about as good as I can. Quite the wild ending of our race last week at Talladega, but that's kind of what you expect when you go to the 2.66 mile super speedway. This race here in Atlanta is certainly going to be a different challenge.
Absolutely. Before we look ahead to that challenge, Let's take a quick peek at the points after round number 1.
After the first round, of course, the standings are going to pretty much look similar to the results from last week's race. One driver that is a few places higher in the standings than he finished is Kyle Zittel, after he grabbed the pole and led the most laps last week at Talladega. But outside of that, the majority of the top 10 is the same. Steve Vrooman has the points lead coming into tonight's race, with Ryan Dye and Adam Cantwell rounding out the top 3.
In terms of tonight, this is obviously the 2008 version of the track, which is sometimes referred to, and very fittingly so, as Bumpy Atlanta. Just how rough is the racetrack out there?
Well, I can't lie. It's pretty rough. To give you an idea, a full fuel run is going to be roughly 40 to 45 laps tonight, but more on that in a minute. From the time these tires get up to temperature to the end of the run, tire fall-off is going to cost these drivers over, and I'm not saying this, over 3 seconds per lap, which I don't think I need to tell anyone. That is a lot. And that is assuming that these drivers are even going to make it to the end of a fuel run without encountering some problems. At the beginning of the run, the rear tires try their hardest to come out from underneath of these trucks, especially running on the bottom in the corners. And then all of a sudden, they will just get plowing tight. All this boils down to is that these trucks are going to try to destroy themselves tonight throughout the race. And as far as fuel strategy goes, we'll talk about fuel strategy as the night rolls along here because this race is right on the verge of being a 2-stop race. But with 3 extra sets of tires, I would be very surprised if the winning strategy tonight was a 2-stopper. We might see some split strategy between drivers who try to save themselves a stop and drivers who try to save themselves the headache of trying to survive on old rubber.
I'll tell you what our friend Hunter Leach told me yesterday in our practice session. He said, why are we running this race?
Oh, no.
So that's the sentiment of some of the drivers. Not all the drivers feel that way. Lots to keep track of here tonight, especially among some of the drivers who maybe don't have as much experience here at Bumpy Atlanta. The good news is that you'll be hanging out with us all night. We'll keep you in the loop as best as we can. It is going to be a wild one no matter what, so don't go anywhere. We'll have traditional qualifying this time for the HotLanta 200 when we return to coverage of Truck 200 here on Turn 200.
A blind night that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon cave, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Alrighty, Tommy, we are live, back in action, and we just got wrapped up with qualifying. Tell us what's going on.
Absolutely. So I thought actually, and this is kind of par for the course for the night. We've had some difficulties here. Everybody has either taken the time or elected not to qualify. So I thought it was going to launch us directly into the race session here. Apparently not. We still got a couple of minutes here. What I can tell you is that since everybody has posted a time here, Jeremy McKinnon will be the second pole sitter in league history. He set a pretty good time with a 31.100. Which again, qualifying is not correct. Only 1 lap for these drivers. So not truly representative of the pace that they could have had. But a 31.10 for Jeremy McKinnon. TJ Bartell, who was pretty zippy in our practice session yesterday, is on the outside pole. So Bumpy Atlanta proven to be a challenge for not just the drivers here, but also for our broadcast equipment and for iRacing itself, apparently.
Yeah, it's been a interesting evening, that's for certain. But we've gotten things pretty much wrapped up and taken care of after I had to uninstall and reinstall my overlays and whatnot. So we were a little scared we wouldn't be able to bring those to you, but we're here, they're up, and we are in for pretty much the same wild ride that we've experienced as broadcasters. That's what we're going to see on track tonight as well. So I suppose it's a little bit fitting.
Yeah. So, yep. I had the session settings exactly how I wanted them, and then iRacing decided to tell me that I didn't have enough money in my account to launch the session, which I did, and I still do. After I added more money, it told me I still had the same balance with the money that I added on top of it. So not exactly sure why, but it screwed up the session. I'm hoping the worst of it is that qualifying is messed up. But we're about to find out here, as qualifying is now officially over. We are a couple of minutes early here, but I don't think the drivers are going to complain about that one. It'll be 2 minutes quicker to get out of bumpy Atlanta. One of these drivers is going to leave a winner, though, and we will see who it's going to be here. 130 laps tonight, and it's Jeremy McKinnon that will lead the field to the green. He is looking for some redemption after last week in Talladega. TJ Bartell had a great run going, wrecked there late in the going. Almost squeaked out of top 10, though, anyway. He will start in second. Jeff Langston, Joe Yakes. Jeff Langston, first appearance in Truck 200 here. He starts third. Joe Yakes, another driver, got wrecked out late, looking for some redemption here in P4. Ryan Dye, runner-up finisher from last week. He rounds out your top 5 finishers here tonight. Sixth place start for Jacob Houston, but he has an EOL. He will be going to the back of the field. Michael Fish in seventh, the starting position. He had a good run last week at Talladega. Kyle Zittel had the pace to win the race. He will start in P8 here tonight. Steve Vrooman and Andy Poliski. Steve Vrooman, of course, your winner from last week's inaugural 200. He starts in ninth. Andy Poliski had some matters to attend to early in the race, so he's looking to go the full race distance here tonight. He will start in 10th. Jack Kilduff, Will Salamone on row number 6. It's Len McNeese debuting here tonight. We saw him at Homestead in the recruitment race. He starts in the 13th position. Kyle Dumig in 14th. Adam Cantwell, third place finisher from last week at Talladega. He will roll off in 15th. Garrett Rainey to his outside on row number 8. Miguel Correa will have a 1-lap penalty after his dust up last week at Talladega. He will start tentatively in 17th. Paul Ellison will roll off in P18. He was the last driver to post a time in qualifying. And then on row 10, it's Troy Thomas on the inside, Jeff Smith on his outside, and the back of the field will be Daniel Morey and Hunter Leach. Hunter Leach electing not to qualify, which is good anyway because he has an EOL, so he'll be starting in the back regardless. What do we got here for the race conditions here at Atlanta?
Yeah, for our race conditions here this evening, we're going to take a look at the weather here. Mainly that track temperature is going to be something that we are going to want to pay attention to. Currently at 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty warm, but not insanely warm. I was told that the trucks actually might handle a little bit better in warmer conditions, not super hot, but warmer conditions than they did when it was cold. So it might actually help our drivers here tonight. Something else to keep an eye on as well is pit stops. Fuel strategy, we are looking at roughly 45 laps, so could be a 2-stopper, but I would be surprised if that is the winning strategy as the tires go away quite quickly here. I think tires are going to determine when those pit stops occur, as long as we don't have a lot of incidents, I suppose.
Absolutely. Incidents are going to be something to keep our eyes on here. And another thing to keep our eyes on here is Jeremy McKinnon. He is elected the outside for the initial start. That puts TJ Bartell down to his inside. Two drivers that were looking great. McKinnon wrecked out from the lead last week at Talladega. Bartell was in the lead pack when he got dumped. Now with a front row start here for the HotLanta 200. McKinnon And Bartell to the start zone, and we are green in Atlanta for round number 2 of Truck 200. Yakes and Bartell side by side for second.
And I tell you what, somebody that I am not super familiar with, but you are, is the 87 of Joe Yakes. So not only does he have an awesome paint scheme, but he's got a lot of skill. Well, McKinnon's got a problem.
I think he may have been penalized for jumping the start. So it may have been a start zone violation there. I'm not 100% sure what the problem was.
With that, TJ Bartell is going to take the top spot, the 59 truck, to the lead.
Well, the way those restart zones work, you do have to maintain a minimum pace, or actually, rather, a maximum pace. So maybe Bartell was minding that, and Jeremy was not. I'm not 100% sure what the case was there. Nevertheless, an early penalty for McKinnon. That is going to be costly. Correa is in the pits now to serve his penalty as well, as TJ Bartell paces the field here, working lap number 3 of 130.
We get a good look at the whole field there coming through the backstretch. And Jeff Langston is looking to make a move on Joe Yakes for the second position. He's going to go underneath of him through turns 1 and 2.
Yakes trying to pinch him there on the bottom. Wow, they are really close there out of turn number 2, but side by side for the second spot. And the bottom of 1 and 2 is a lot sketchier than the bottom of 3 and 4. Langston might be able to pull this move off here, and he does. Slides up in front of Yakes and takes the second spot away. Behind them, they are side by side. For the 5th position, it's Kyle Zittel and Andy Poliski battling for the final spot in the top 5. Michael Fish is sneaking into this battle as well. I saw Stephen C. is in the YouTube chat. You'll be happy to see Michael Fish. It's holding serve right now in the 7th position, but with Zittel and now Poliski battling hard. Poliski gets through. Maybe Zittel is Fish's for the taking here.
Yeah,
up front, Langston. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say they stacked up a little bit. Michael Fish right on the back of Zittel there through turns 3 and 4.
Well, I tell you what, the entire field is stacked up now, as it seems like pretty much the entire field is nose to tail here, working down the back straightaway.
And this is kind of what we expect early on in these runs, but as it goes along, we're going to see who's able to conserve a little bit of tire and who's not, because the lap times are going to start falling off quickly if they don't, as Langston is looking to the outside of Bartell for the lead.
Langston up to the quarter panel now, door to door with the race leader Bartell, who has led all the way thus far after the early penalty for Jeremy McKinnon. But now Jeff Langston is looking in his first Truck 200 race to go up to the top spot. Now I know we've got a lot of crossover fans that watch a lot of Venom Truck Series coverage here on Turn 200, so you are absolutely no stranger to Jeff Langston if that is you. Jeff Langston is in his last 3 points-paying starts with the Venom Truck Series. He has 3 victories. He's on quite the run, and now he's bringing it over to Truck 200 rather.
Yeah, he's looking to keep those winning streaks alive. While he was taking the lead, Ryan Dye had a little bit of an issue. He slips behind Poliski. He was in danger of being passed by both Zittel and Fish.
Oh! Trouble! Off into the grass. I think that was Fish. He made contact, it was, with Steve Vrooman. Fish had put himself in a little bit of an awkward spot and slipped back a couple of positions and then drifted up the track into the side of Steve Vrooman, and now he has lost a ton of spots.
Yeah, he lost a lot of momentum, got passed by 2 or 3 more since he came back on the track. He is all the way down to 13th place now.
And now the hope, as Zittel is working underneath of Ryan Dye, now the hope for Steve Vrooman is that he doesn't have a ton of damage on the left side of that truck. But more crucially, right side damage here on these trucks, like Michael Fish, I'm sure, has at least a little bit of, makes these trucks so aero loose, especially later in a run. It becomes almost unmanageable. So that little bit of contact may dictate his entire race strategy here, as it's certainly got a bit of a mix-up.
When we get a good chance, I would like to go back and take a look at that because I didn't get a great look at the incident itself. Now might be a decent time. We got a little battle between Zittel and Vrooman happening still. As soon as this is cleared out, I'm going to try to take a look at that replay for us. And they go single file. Let's go ahead and take a look. So this is Fish and Vrooman. I think Fish thought he was clear. He kind of came up into Vrooman there.
It looked like he was a little bit out of shape to me anyway.
Okay. I didn't get a great look at that, but he was down on the grass. It's a miracle that he didn't spin out or take even more damage from that. So unfortunate for Fish. Just got a little loose maybe and came up the track just a tad on Vrooman.
The race is not over, but the work has just begun for Michael Fish, as up front, TJ Bartel looking underneath of Jeff Langston again for the race lead. And a few of these guys were in our practice session yesterday, and Bartel was the leader of the crop. He was putting down some wicked fast laps.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bartel's making moves, but so is Joe Yakes. Joe Yakes is not going anywhere. Right on the back bumper of the one and the right rear quarter panel of the 59 right now. He is looking to take a little bit of an advantage, possibly, from a battle that is brewing here in the front.
Further back, side by side for State Line Racing, Kyle Zittel and Ryan Dye battling for 6th. But the big battle is up front, Langston, Bartel, and Yakes trading the first 3 positions here. And lap 15, I think, personally, is about when the switch flips from you having to catch slides in these trucks to these trucks just absolutely being magnetized up into the outside wall with the front end.
Well, we're going to find out. This battling right now is awesome, but I think it's going to get even more crazy when we start having pit stops come into play, when the pit strategy happens, who's going to come in first, who's going to try to stay out for a while, and who's going to be the bold person that tries to make it a 2-stop race. I am almost certain there will be at least one person.
We have some pit strategy guys in here. Jeff Langston's one of them. Steve Vrooman is one of them. They always seem to come out on the right side of pit strategy. But it may be a tall order here tonight in Atlanta with tire wear the way that it is.
I'll tell you what, these trucks can be pretty loose in the beginning laps, and we really didn't have many incidents, just that one little bobble from Fish, but no caution needed to come out. So good on our drivers here tonight to be able to corral these things. What will be interesting is who forgets that is the case after the first round of pit stops, because I know that sometimes you get in a rhythm, you come in for the pit stops, and you just think you can hammer out again, and that's just really not the case on cold tires. So I would not be surprised if we have somebody try to overstep their boundaries a little bit after that first round of stops.
Yakes through to second. He's had a couple of peaks now at Jeff Langston for the top spot. This is his best look yet here on the bottom out of turn number 4. Gosh, look how close he gets to the grass there.
We're going to try to take a good look at the battle. We're going to go on board with TJ Bartel in the 59. Looking right at the side-by-side battle between the 87 of Yakes and the 1 of Jeff Langston.
Bartel may just be licking his chops as these two race side-by-side. Yeah, go ahead and use up your stuff. Well, I'll just sit right here and watch.
It's certainly not a bad spot to be. He knows he doesn't have to. Well, I mean, he can't really go anywhere. This is not a place to make a 3-wide pass, really. So
No.
I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody try it. As Yakes is going to clear Langston to the top spot. What a move!
All right, Joe Yakes to P10. Langston up into the wall. Oh man, truck is torched. Stays up into the wall. Now has a little bit of room to maneuver, but oh my gosh. Trying to go to the top side and stick it as close to the outside wall as possible and clips the safer barrier. He actually may have gotten into the wall a little bit before the safer barrier, but the safer barrier exacerbated the situation tenfold.
Well, unfortunately, I was trying to switch camera angles to our leader, Joe Yakes, so I kind of missed it. I'm going to see if I can find a replay of that.
And I'll keep an eye on Jeff because I don't think he's out of trouble just yet. I mean, those were a couple of significant hits, but he is back rolling. He's not pitting just yet.
All right, here's the pass from the 87 of Joe Yakes. Now, we're going to want to keep an eye on the number 1. And I got to find him here in my list. Here we go. I actually passed him a little bit before that. We're just going to let this lap play through, because this is big implications. Langston was going to be a contender at the end of the race. I can guarantee it. Oh, yeah, and he tries to move out to arc the corner. Absolutely slams the wall.
So Yakes now with about a 4 truck length lead. Go ahead.
I was just going to give us a little top 5 update now. It's going to be Yakes and Bartel 1 and 2. Poliski, Vrooman, and Kyle Zittel will round out the top 5. There's a pretty big battle going on around that 4th spot, though. Vrooman is under fire from Zittel, Ryan Dye, and Adam Cantwell is up quite a few spots up into the 7th position now, so he is slowly working his way up in the field.
Jacob Houston, who you'll show him with a 6th starting spot, but remember he had an EOL, so he started much further back in the field. He's up to 13th. He had a lot of speed yesterday in the practice session as well, so that's not surprising to me that he's really worked up probably about 15 to 16 positions already through this race.
Yeah, and shout out to...
That's a gaggle there.
Well, shout out to Jacob Houston. He posted today in in our Discord that he was doing a stream for baseball cards. And I sat and watched it during my lunch hour for about 5 or 10 minutes or so. So pretty cool stuff going on. If you guys want to check that out, it is in the self-promotion of our Discord channel.
Absolutely. A link to our Discord is in the description of this race here. We got a lot of goodies down there. So while you're down there, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit like on the stream as well. Man, I tell you what, we had a ton of after what do you call it? After stream views on the stream last week. It almost got up to 300, which would make it like one of our top 5 streams ever. So that's awesome for a first time. That it got that many. It popped that big of a rating anyway. So appreciate everybody that came out last week if you're here right now. And appreciate everybody that's here right now as well. Stephen C. hanging out with us. He let out a big few after Michael Fish was able to gather the truck up. So I'm sure that's exactly what Michael was saying as well.
Yeah, that certainly could have been worse. Michael Fish currently sits at 12, so he has gained a spot, likely from Jeff Langston dropping all the way down. But he hasn't lost any more time, which, with a little bit of damage on the truck, could be something to watch. So he at least has a decent truck that he can hold position. I'm not sure if he will be able to make any passes, though. We'll have to see as the night goes on.
Steve Vrooman has just gotten through on Ryan Dye. Now here comes Adam Cantwell to the tailgate of the 4.
And Kyle Zittle's fallen back about 3 spots here.
Big moment there for Andy Poliski. He was just completely sideways and gathered that truck up, but he is going to go from 3rd all the way back to 7th as a result. These tires are starting to go if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, that's going to bunch this group up. We have a big group of drivers, about 5 of them, all kind of in line to take this 3rd spot away from Steve Vrooman. And we have 3 extra tire sets. If you wanted to break this thing up into equal stints for the tires here in the next few laps, that would be the time to do it. So we're going to start watching some pit strategy here before too long, I would have to think.
You mentioned it in the open. 45 laps-ish is the fuel window. I don't know how many people are going to go empty. I think the first person to come onto pit road is going to open the floodgates. You do not want to be caught out by fresh tires here more than a lap or 2. You are going to lose some serious time. Something. What did we agree on last night? Like 3 to 3.5 seconds a lap from fresh tires to end of run tires. I mean, something just ungodly like that.
Yeah, I think it was around 3 seconds is kind of what we discussed, and at a 1.5-mile track, that is a lot of time. That's almost 10% of the lap time. So
that's a full lap in 10 laps, basically, is what that equates to.
Yeah, so that is certainly not something you want to happen where you fail on your pit strategy here, because you can lose a lot of time if you mess that up.
Tell you what, Joe Yakes is looking awfully comfortable out front, though, for the time being anyway. The Wisconsin turned Florida driver, again, a driver that you're not so familiar with, but and quite honestly, Joe and I are usually in separate halves of the field when we do race together. But I convinced him to come out here, hoping on a part-time basis. He says he's going to run the full thing, so we'll have to wait and see. And with results like this, he may be very inclined to stay as it runs right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, for Joe, I mean, he's a great driver, but we have a lot of really good competition here.
Absolutely.
A lot of these Venom truck guys, they have a lot of experience in these trucks, but we have some newcomers to the series that, I say newcomers, people that I'm not familiar with. You're familiar with quite a few of them, but Cantwell is one of them. We just mentioned Joe Yakes. Jeff Smith, who we really don't know at all, is running in the top 10 right now. So a lot of stiff competition here in the Venom Truck Series. Or excuse me, in Truck 200. Goodness gracious. Doing these back-to-back nights gets me all confused, I tell you.
You bite your tongue, good sir. Yeah, it's great to see Jeff Smith in the top 10, but not only that, just here. He didn't get to run but a handful of laps at Talladega before he had some serious problems. So great to see Jeff up in the top 10 here tonight. He just painted that truck. It looks great. And running the old number 96, that's a great number as well. I hate to mention it, but Hunter Leach just had a moment last lap where he started going tank slapper, but credit to him, he collected it and is keeping it pointed in the right direction. So a good save for our buddy Hunter.
Yeah, running the old 199. Hopefully he does it better justice than I might here at Atlanta. He's back in about 16th place as we have some movers on the pit lane now.
Here we go. Paul Ellison, Garrett Rainey, the first 2 drivers without penalty to hit pit road. I believe Kyle Dumick came down pit road as well. So this should start to open things up. Ellison is a driver hampered by a bad qualifying effort. He was on a pretty good split from what I could tell and got loose out of turns 3 and 4 and just had to fight his way up through the field. So Joe Yakes is running a little low there. Does not come in this time. Jack Kilduff does. Unfortunately for Jack, I believe he hit the wall. He's got a meatball flag. So that spells some pretty big trouble there for Mr. Kilduff.
And I am a little surprised we haven't seen more of our drivers come into the pits this time around. I think Ellison and Rainey and Dumig are going to get the best of the pit strategy this time around.
They certainly could. They were running either just inside or just outside of the top 10, so that may be really the only reason why more drivers aren't on pit road yet. Oh, Cantwell just had a huge moment there. Holy cow. I don't know how those two trucks aren't junked.
Barely clear in front of Kyle Zittel. He thought better of it. I think Zittel was about to run him down and just put the hammer to the back of him. He pulled back down to the bottom. Paul Ellison was actually, I think, had just passed Andy Poliski before he went to the pits. I think he was running 7th or either 6th or 7th. So he was actually up quite far before he came down pit lane.
So that does seem like kind of an oversight, but we'll have to see how it plays out for Ellison. As again, it's just those three trucks that have hit pit road here. Daniel Morey. Oh, Daniel Morey just tried to get it on pit road. I'm not sure if he made the commitment cone or not. Hopefully he did. It was very, very close, though. This is a tough pit road to get onto, let alone the fact that you're essentially driving on stone tires when these drivers are coming onto pit road.
Yeah, it's hard to get those things woed down trying to get to that pit lane. It comes up on you quick, that's for certain, but most of our drivers do a pretty good job, especially when you get later in these runs. You can't carry as much speed, so that makes it maybe a little bit easier, but as you mentioned, when you try to hit the brakes on those old tires, it's they can squirt you sideways for sure.
Coming to lap number 41, Joe Yakes is still out on the track, so maybe a little bit surprising. Still hanging out on the track. He's got a 1.1 second advantage over TJ Bartell, who currently runs in second. Steve Vrooman, Ryan Dye, Adam Cantwell right now, your top 5. Kyle Zittel, Andy Poliski, Jeff Smith, Jacob Houston, Will Salamone, your top 10. Top 14 drivers have yet to come down pit road. McKinnon was a little bit off sequence. He picked up a penalty after scoring the pole in the start zone. So he, I guess, technically hasn't pit yet.
Oh, we got Chris Collins in the YouTube chat.
Whoa!
Welcome to the show, Mr. Christopher. Says, if I build a Minecraft racetrack, will we race on it? If you can find a way to get a race car. Ooh, you know what? I just had a great idea. Maybe we can do mining cart races in Minecraft. That might be interesting. We'll have to stay tuned on that one.
Might be. Yeah, big if there. Here comes Ryan Dye to pit road. Michael Fish is on pit road as well. So here comes some of the heavy hitters. Maybe this will start to bring Joe Yakes and TJ Bartell and others down pit road as well. Kyle Zittel is pitting this time by. He calls over the radio. Bartell and Yakes go by.
Out.
I tell you what, Bartell has tracked Joe Yakes down. He has cut that advantage in half.
Sideways.
Oh, problems.
Wow, I can't believe he actually saved that. Unbelievable from Cantwell. Kyle Zittel does get by him going into pit lane.
No black flags. Incredible work there to hold on to that one. Here comes TJ Bartell to pit road.
And Yakes is staying out.
Wow, he's going to run this tank out. Bartell locks him up into the pits. No black flags on this sequence just yet. Here comes Jacob Houston now into pit road. Oh, Houston spins it out into the wall. Oh, my gosh. That is beyond unfortunate. Jeff Langston comes in behind Houston. Oh, man.
And Houston's got heavy damage to the front of that truck as well. That was not a soft hit. Joe Yakes stays out again.
Wow, lap number 46.
And he has Ellison right behind him now. I think Ellison is going to get the best of this pit strategy for now, at least. I think Yakes must be on a two-stop strategy, I guess.
Now, here comes Joe Yakes. He just called it out over the radio. I mean, the only benefit to a two-stop strategy is you're going to have fresher tires at a different point than everybody else. You'll be able to make up the gains at that point, I guess. Miguel Correa in front of the race leader here as Joe Yakes ducks it onto pit road for the first time on lap number 46, coming to 47. When he crosses the line, it'll leave us with 84 laps to go.
This means Andy Poliski has become our race leader, and he is running the top now. Those tires, I'm sure, are absolutely nothing underneath of that truck right now, and he needs to get to pit road now is probably what he's thinking to himself.
Poliski and Jeff Smith are the last two that have not come down pit road as of yet. So we'll have to see where everybody is going to shake out here. Once we get Poliski and Smith onto pit road, especially considering the damage now to Jacob Houston. Paul Ellison, an early pitter, is going to shake things up quite a bit here in the running order. So we will see. Jeremy McKinnon, ooh. Thought I heard some contact.
I think it was right
somewhere on the track.
Ellison, but I'm not sure who it was.
It might have been Andy Poliski. Poliski was in a side-by-side battle. It also could have been whoever was in front of Poliski, which was, I believe, Kyle Zittel or Kyle Dumig. Dumig is a little bit slow here. I remember Dumig was one of the first three trucks onto pit road. If you just saw Kyle Zittel blow past him, I mean, we're talking like 5 laps difference in those tires, and they are in trouble. Now, Miguel Correa has disconnected. It was going to be a tough night for Miguel Correa regardless, but good on him for coming out here tonight and sticking it out for close to half of the race here. As we are side by side right now, Ellison.
Ellison has a gaggle of lap trucks with him here. That's Leach, Houston, and Kilduff right around him at the moment, all on fresh rubber.
Kilduff yields. He has a ton of damage. Houston, again, has damage as well. But Jeff Smith is still out on track. It's lap number 50. He's got to be getting pretty close, and here he comes to pit road. So Jeff Smith stays out, leads a few laps, and now will relinquish the lead to Andy Poliski, who is actually on pit road as well. So
it'll be Paul Ellison.
Paul Ellison, yes. Ellison and Rainey. Two of the first trucks onto pit road.
That's right. We were correct in that pit strategy. Ellison and Rainey are going to take over 1 and 2. The first two that did come into pit now. When they come into pit again, if there's people on two-stop strategies, they will likely at least gain 1 lap on them, if not more. This is going to be a lot to keep track of if we don't have some sort of an incident or caution that comes out, which I really hope we don't, because I would love to see this thing play out like it should.
And look how far Joe Yakes slid down after staying out all that time. He's all the way down in the 8th position, and he is 11 seconds behind Paul Ellison.
Yeah, he lost a lot of time. He has his strategy. The others have theirs. When he comes into pit again, he can either pit with those leaders, I guess, or he can elect to stay out a little bit longer. I would assume he's going to stay out a little bit longer and maybe come into pit around lap 90, 95, maybe 100, and have himself a nice little 30 to 35 lap run at the end of the race on fresher tires, maybe than everybody else.
So as they work here, Paul Ellison, the race leader, he's got the top 17 trucks on the lead lap behind him. Jeremy McKinnon I believe, has come back down pit road, so he is 1 lap down again. Hunter Leach is 3 laps down. Not sure what happened to him. He may have picked up a penalty. Jack Kilduff, 4 laps down. He had a ton of damage. I believe Len McNeese got up into the wall at least once, maybe twice, so he had some damage to repair as well. So he is now 5 laps down and in the pits as well. So hopefully Len can get it back out on track here. Also want to mention, before I forget, we had, I believe, 3 provisionals here tonight. Dave Stinson has taken a provisional. Dakota DeMade has taken a provisional. And Aaron Brown has taken his provisional here tonight. The way that works is with 22 starters here tonight. I don't remember how many points 22nd place pays out, but the provisional will pay half of whatever 22nd place is. And so all 3 of those drivers will be awarded that, and that is their 1 provisional on the season. If they miss any other races, they're just not going to get any points for it.
And as he mentioned it, somebody that is not here tonight that I really wish was is Gavin Sanders.
Yes. We have quite the RAL contingent all of a sudden in Truck 200. Christopher Kresge has signed up. He is not here tonight. So none of the RAL boys are here this evening, but I believe Watkins Glen is next weekend, or next Monday. So I would imagine all 3 of them will be here for that.
Oh, well, things are stacking up around our leader, Paul Ellison. I think his tires are starting to maybe give out on him a little bit, as Hunter Leach and McKinnon are going to be passing him right now.
Not only that, here comes TJ Bartell with a head of steam. He has closed the gap from over 3 seconds to under half a second here as they work through lap traffic for Ellison. Bartell has closed it now to 2 truck lengths. It is just a formality at this point.
It seems like Bartell's strategy has paid off pretty well, at least in the mid-run. We're still waiting to see if Joe Yakes in the very, very long-term pit strategy is going to work out. But Bartell has the speed, but also has the fresher tire as well. So he's going to look to maybe put a little gap on Ellison here.
Yakes is going to work on Vrooman as Bartell through to the lead. On lap number 57, he's back on the point officially now on lap number 58. Ryan Dye, Garrett Rainey, Kyle Zittel kind of off in their own realm here as Yakes working Steve Vrooman over. Yakes drops to the bottom.
And they have Zittel right in front of them as well, who they are catching. So this is going to end up being a 3-truck battle for 5th. And it's not going to be an easy one, I can tell you that, especially with Zittel involved.
Just to tell you where everybody kind of shook out, Jeff Smith, who was the last driver to pit, he pit on lap number 50. He's all the way down in 16th, battling with Troy Thomas for the 15th spot right now. But he has considerably fresher tires than, every other person on the track right now. Whoa! Vrooman and Yakes swapping spots. Here comes Zittel into the mix now. He's sliding back into this. Rainey as well. Vrooman trying to split him 3 wide. Hairy situation.
Whoa.
Oh, not quite clear. Oh, Rainey into the wall.
And Rainey on old tires, I'm sure, struggling. He tried to keep Zittel and Vrooman and Yakes at bay, but with that kind of tire, you just can't do it. And he got a little tight coming out of 4, ended up slapping the wall a little bit.
Jack Kilduff in here as well. Quite a few laps down with some pretty heavy damage. This is a tight part of the track here through the tri-oval. This is a 3-way battle for position. Not a whole lot you can do if you're Kilduff other than just hold the wheel and pray.
Yeah, just hold that top line and hope that everything goes accordingly. Vrooman is trying to steer clear.
As here comes Yakes battling with Zittel now underneath of him. This is the battle for 4th. Yakes should be able to clear Zittel here into turn number 1 on a few lap fresher tires. And Yakes on his march back up through the front. He's got a couple of seconds before he gets up to the tailgate of Ryan Dye for 3rd. and
Yeah.
about another second up to Paul Ellison after that, and then he's going to have quite a bit of work to do to get up to TJ Barthel.
That gap to Ryan Dye is about a second and a half right now, but it is closing pretty quickly. It's already to 1.3 now, so Yakes is really looking to go to work with some fresh track. I say fresh track, with some open track up in front of him, looking to get into the top 3. His strategy is looking to be at least decent right now. We're going to see how it plays out after a second round of pit stops for everybody. But we have quite a while until we're going to get to that point, I think.
Calling this a fresh track is kind of a misstep. It was fresh when we were born, roughly. But it's not fresh until you run the current edition of the track. Then it's very fresh.
And for those of you that don't know us that well, from 2008, that was about 20. This track's about 20 years old as of a 2008. No, I'm wrong. About 10 years old.
It was yeah. This is an 11-year-old version of Atlanta. Or this track surface was 11 when it was put on the service. There we go.
Just don't let me talk anymore. I'll be here running the cameras. Tell me what to do.
I'm struggling too. Don't worry. It's been that kind of night. I think I left my brain in southern Illinois today, unfortunately.
Whoa! It looked like Zittel was pretty loose coming out of 2. Vrooman's going to dive to the inside of him.
The battle for 5th still rages on.
I tell you what, the battle for 2nd's heating up too. Ellison on old tire is starting to fade. Ryan Dye and now Joe Yakes are going to be pulling up to him here pretty quick.
Yakes is on the march back up to the front. And just like with Zittel and Vrooman, he's going to have another 3-car dance to get it done here. As behind them, Zittel and Vrooman are still side by side.
Gonna see if there we go. There's a little bit of a wider angle. We can get both of these battles in the camera at the same time at a few spots on the track.
Ellison fades back as Yakes now underneath of Dye for the 2nd spot. Zittel has gone through on Vrooman outright.
And
so he'll
Yakes
hang on to the 5th.
Yeah, Yakes clears Dye as well, so a lot of shaking and moving going on towards the front right here as we are at lap 67. Still a long ways to go, just over halfway through here at the HotLanta 200.
3.7 seconds. 3.8 seconds, rather, at the line. Joe Yakes is behind the race leader, TJ Barthel. That's the gap that he has to make up here.
We're going to show TJ Barthel on the broadcast right now because we've been talking about TJ Barthel for a little while now in the Venom Truck Series. He's been kind of knocking on the door of the podium, which he actually ended up getting one not too long ago. It was a week or two ago, and he's knocking on the door of a victory now in Truck 200 against a lot of those same drivers. So a really good run for the 59 right now. He's loving every minute of it, I'm sure.
I mean, he's had excellent race pace in just about every race this season in the Venom Truck Series. The problem is so have Jeff Langston, Jeremy McKinnon, Ryan Dye, and Andy Poliski, the drivers that he's primarily been battling with the most. So it was good to see him finally come out on top of one and get himself a podium at Nashville Fairgrounds. Tomorrow night, we're still in Nashville. It'll be the Nashville Super Speedway. We'll see if TJ Barthel can lay claim to his first Venom Truck Series victory tomorrow night. He's going to have a whole host of other drivers that are going to want to take the honors away from him. So this will be another great race at Nashville Super Speedway tomorrow night for the Venom Truck Series.
And two regular season races in a row anyways. Kind of hometown races for me. I'm located just outside of Nashville. Actually, a little bit closer to the super speedway than I am the fairgrounds, but the fairgrounds kind of used to be my backyard, basically, over at Belmont University. I could hear the cars. If I wasn't at the track, I could hear them every Friday and Saturday night at the university. So pretty cool stuff going on in Nashville right now.
Bartel gave up about a half a tenth that last time by to Joe Yakes. This time he's going to give up a couple of more tenths as he works underneath of Hunter Leach. Leach is going to fall a third lap down here, but stays out of the way of the race leader.
Oh, Zittel and Vrooman are still going at it for the 5th position. They have Ellison right in front of them, who was fading on older tires. He seems to have kind of plateaued a little bit here, as have Vrooman and Zittel.
Jeremy McKinnon and Kyle Dumick both just disconnected at the exact same time, and it kind of scared me, to be honest with you. I thought maybe Oh, trouble! Jeff Langston is around.
Oh,
that is the first caution of the race. Langston goes for a spin out of turn number 2 and is parked in the middle of the track. Nothing he can really do there. But that will bring out the first caution. And that, boy, that certainly throws a wrench in things, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. A lot of that pit strategy that we were talking about kind of went out the window a little bit for everybody. Everybody is going to be coming down pit road when they are able to. But let's go ahead and maybe take a little look here at what happened. It looks like Kyle Dumick crashed as well. You mentioned that he disconnected also. But this is Langston in the 1 truck. This is going to be coming out of turn 2. And he just gets loose. No two ways about it. Isn't able to corral it. We'll see. And yes, he's going to hit the wall pretty hard there. He does slam on the brakes. I don't think anybody got involved in it, as it was right in front of our leader, Bartel. But just a 1 truck incident there. As here come our leaders down pit road.
Should not surprise anybody that everybody that is on the lead lap anyway has come down pit road. Actually, not everybody. Jeff Langston, who brought out the caution, has stayed out. Len McNeese has stayed out as well. Jeff Smith is on the lead lap, so he should be the new leader here. Troy Thomas is on the lead lap as well. Michael Fish and Jacob Houston, all 4 of these trucks are on the lead lap here. They all just remarked over the radio that I couldn't tell if they were rejoicing that the caution came out and that they got lucky, or that they got very unlucky that the caution came out. But it's going to be interesting. You would have to assume Bartel and Kyle Zittel, who came out of the pits in 2nd, Joe Yakes in 3rd. You would have to imagine all of them took 4 tires, would you not?
I mean, I don't think there's any other way to do it, although Zittel does seem like he gained quite a few positions on pit road. Fairly interesting. Maybe he did try a 2-stop strategy, but I don't think it's really going to last him too long, so we'll have to see how long he can keep up the pace.
Now, the left front tire does hold up okay, but the left rear tire is rough. So going for just left side tire, or going for rather right side tires only for Zittel would be interesting. There's every chance, though, that he was just quicker on the draw. I think he only would have had to leapfrogged Ryan Dye, who looks like he had his own problems. He's a little bit further back in the pack, and Joe Yakes. So it's not out of the question that he did just take 4 tires.
Yeah, and you never know what happens on pit road. There could have been, some sort of incident, somebody holding,
Kerfuffle.
kind of holding somebody up, maybe. I don't know. But they were all together. You would think they would all be in relatively at the same time. But as they were exiting, I know that a couple of them don't have the pit stalls that they would like. So maybe it was on their exits that they might have had an issue.
So Bartel elects the bottom here for the restart. Let's give you a full field rundown here. It's about that time anyway. As lap number 77 goes up on the board, it'll be 54 laps to go. It's Bartel and Zittel now side by side on the front row for this restart, with Bartel in control on the bottom, Joe Yakes, Paul Ellison. Then on that second row, Steve Vrooman and Ryan Dye on row number 3. Adam Cantwell, Daniel Morey, first time in the top 10 for Daniel here tonight. He is in the 8th position. Great to see Daniel up here. Troy Thomas, Jacob Houston just came down pit road. They stayed out one lap under caution. So Troy Thomas and Jacob Houston now round out your top 10. Will Salamone, Andy Poliski, 11th and 12th. Jeff Smith and Michael Fish, 13th and 14th. Right now, last truck on the lead lap is Garrett Rainey in spot number 15. Jeff Langston is still running in 16th, 1 lap down. Hunter Leach is 3 laps down in 17th. We have lost Jeremy McKinnon, Kyle Dumig, Jack Kilduff, Miguel Correa. Len McNeese, I believe, is still running as well. He is in the 21st position, 17 laps down. So some spots to be gained for Len McNeese. And some laps to be led for somebody up front. Is it going to be Bartel? Is it going to be Zittel? Is it going to be Yakes or Ellison? Green flag is back in the air. And Kyle Zittel just picked up a black flag. I wonder what the restart zone is doing here.
We didn't really mention this. Did he elect to start in a different spot, maybe? Because McKinnon elected to start on the outside rather than the inside. Maybe there's some sort of issue with that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But Zittel is going to come in and serve his penalty. That's going to have to get looked at here after the race. But up front, it's Yakes and Bartel. Daniel Morey is now on pit road as well. And Hunter Leach is now disconnected.
Okay, so maybe it does say Hunter went off track at some point. Maybe a little bit of an incident between those two. I don't know.
I'll have to go back and look here.
While you're going back to look at that incident, we have a battle between Joe Yakes and TJ Bartel. We've seen it quite a bit already tonight. Yakes in the 87, that purple, great-looking truck on the top, and another good-looking truck of a different kind, the 59 of Bartel on the bottom. And Yakes makes the outside work. He's going to take the top spot. Lap 81 is going up on the board.
Here come Vrooman and Ellison in touch with Bartel now. The Hunter Leach incident was a single car spin for him through the infield grass and pretty significant contact into the pit wall, so that was going to do him in, unfortunately. Now I'm going to go back and see. If you're going to keep watching the action up front, I'm going to see what happened to Daniel Moore. Right here in front of Joe Yakes is Kyle Zittel now. What could have been the battle for the lead. Zittel right now is already 1 lap down. He is going to try and fight tooth and nail, I think, not to go a second lap down. It's unfortunately going to be a losing battle here for the time being anyways. Joe Yakes goes through. Not quite clear. Zittel. And now he is.
And Major E Falls in the chat cheering on the 59 of TJ Bartel. Bartel has looked good all night long on pit strategy. Came out in the lead by quite a margin, but with just a caution about 10 laps ago, that that lead was brought to 0, and now Joe Yakes in the 87 has taken the lead.
Will Salamone just had a moment further back in the pack. He clipped the apron, it looks like, coming down to turn number 4, and had to gather the truck up down the front straightaway. But never lost control of the truck, and unfortunately lost all of his track position, but the truck still looks pretty clean. The Daniel Mori incident, he got up into the wall, actually in the tri-oval, at the line coming to the green flag, was trying to come down into the pits. That next time by, and looped the truck around and made some pretty significant contact into the inside pit wall on pit entry. So he is back out on track now, but with a little bit of damage on that truck. Will Salamone apparently did have some damage. He is now on pit road and now off of pit road as well.
This battle between the top 4 is pretty tight. They're going to fan out a little bit also. You can see Kyle Zittel in the screen here as well. Not a part of the battle, as he is a couple laps down after incurring a black flag on the restart. Farther back in the pack, Adam Cantwell running in 5th, all by his lonesome at the moment. Jacob Houston, who we thought took a lot of damage, is moving along pretty good in the 17. He's running 6th right now. He's got Ryan Dye and Troy Thomas behind him. Dye and Thomas in a little bit of a battle here as Jeff Smith has Poliski and Michael Fish in tow with him. Fish looking to make a move on Poliski here. That's also Jeff Langston in the mix here as well, but he is Is he a lap down, or did he?
Yes, he is 1 lap down right now. He is in the position for the lucky dog. Should another caution come.
I can tell you what, Jeff Langston getting a lucky dog would shake things up, I think, if he was able to get it with a little bit of time left on the clock, so to speak.
Just a bit, don't you think? Daniel Mori is trying to clock laps underneath of the apron, stay out of the racing surface, which is the best of both worlds, I would say. Getting as many laps in today as possible and picking up as many spots as possible, and also not holding up the leaders. That's valiant. Bartel has scooted away from this battle for 3rd now.
And Joe Yakes has scooted away from him. The gap between Yakes and Bartel is about a second, between 9/10 and a second now.
Yeah, he puts just under 2/10 of a second on him that last lap. So, Yakes putting in work. Working underneath him, Maury will have Len McNeese in a couple of laps. Maybe this time by, actually. So we're down to 17 trucks on the 2008 scan of Atlanta Motor Speedway here for round number 2 of the inaugural season of Truck 200. We appreciate everybody coming out here tonight and watching. All the drivers are putting on a show for you here tonight. And it's been these top 2 who have been in control of much of the race here thus far. Joe Yakes, TJ Bartel. Bartel did reel in Joe Yakes about 2.5 tenths that last time by, as Yakes and Bartel both worked through traffic, as Len McNeese is a little bit out of shape in the tri-oval down into the grass. That's a tight situation there. Keeps it out of the way as much as possible, but a sketchy situation there for McNeese, who's making his first start here tonight with Truck 200.
Don't look now, Tommy, but the gap between Yates and Bartel is now down to half a second.
It was just under a second 3 laps ago. And the gap is continuing to shrink. Actually, this time it's going to expand just a little bit by about a tenth or so, maybe less.
So Yates might have had a big bobble that we just didn't catch.
You notice what just happened all around the track? Shade. Way dark. We'll have to see how that affects the handling of this truck. You mentioned it earlier that this particular fixed setup that all these trucks have may like the heat a little bit more than it likes the shade. I know these tires like the shade, but this setup likes the heat.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the weather conditions right now. Track temperature is down almost 10 degrees from the race start, so definitely going to affect the drivers, as I think Zittel got up into the wall just a little bit. Probably not a lot of damage or contact, but he did make a little rub with the wall going into 3 there.
And talk about a guy that cannot catch a break, Kyle Zittel. I mean, he's been in contention of like almost every single race that we've had here on Turn 200. And, I mean, he's just not had the results to go with it, and it's unfortunate because he is consistently a lower top 10, upper top 5 runner, and has just not had those results. Today may be much of the same, unfortunately.
And I tell you who else can't get a catch a break is Steve Vrooman and Paul Ellison have been battling all day long. They're together again right now, along with Zittel as well, who was with them just a couple of laps down, unfortunately. But the 00 and the 55 have seen a lot of each other today, and they aren't done yet. They still have over 30 laps to sort this thing out.
We have officially crossed the 1 hour mark in this race from the drop of the green flag. And the final pit window is open. So it's now a question of when do you want to do it, if you have to do it at all.
Yeah, our drivers have about, 20 to 23 laps on their tires. I don't remember exactly when we went back green, but I would assume that they're going to go at least another 5 laps before they come in. I don't think that they will be able to make it, although we did see Jeff Smith go 50 laps on a run, so it's possible that somebody could try to make it the whole way.
And that could have been the strategy behind what guys like Troy Thomas and Jacob Houston did. Remember, they stayed out, and a couple of others as well. Jeff Smith, I believe, was one of those. But they stayed out an extra lap under caution before they came down and pit after everybody else. So maybe they think that is going to be the difference here. They can stay out. Everybody else is going to have to pit. That is some fine margins, though. And hello to Kevin Cochran in the chat as well.
And speaking of fine margins, Joe Yates has kept that margin of the lead right at 4/10. It's been between 4/10 and half a second for about the last 10 laps now. It's a little bit of a chess match right now between Joe Yates and TJ Bartel, the 87, the 59 trucks respectively, as they have put a pretty good gap on the rest of the field.
Bartel cuts into the deficit on corner entry, but Yates seems to get the better of him on corner exit. But just as I say that time, he cuts about half of a tenth into the advantage there. So Bartel is closing yet again.
Bartel's kind of been our in-race cameras. Let's go ahead and go to the cockpit view again of the 59 and see what he's trying to do to reel in the 87. He's running more the middle as Yakes is running the bottom. That allows Bartel to get a bigger run into the quad oval here, coming out of 4, and he is going to close the gap. It's down to 0.2 of a second now, going into 1.
A truck length or less between our top 2 right now. Bartle swings up to the high side. Yakes trying to rail the bottom. A quicker corner for Yakes, but more momentum for Bartel.
Right, it's about 0.3 when they're coming out of the corner, but as they go down the straights, Bartel picks up another 1/10. So this is what we love about this track and why we put it on the schedule. Not only is it a little difficult, but you can run multiple lines and make it work here, as we can see it coming to fruition with Bartel and Yakes right now. Bartel had to really get out of the gas there through turns 1 and 2.
No surprise that Ellison and Vrooman behind them are still battling. Adam Cantwell is trying to move himself into this battle as well.
And Cantwell's been pretty quiet tonight. He's been in the top 10 all night, but just silently has moved his way up the field.
He and Ellison have both had great drives through the field.
Yeah, I mean, Cantwell started way back in 15th. Ellison actually started, I think, in maybe 18th or 19th. Yes. They both have driven through the field here. Really good runs from both of them tonight. And Ellison's going to come down.
Here comes Paul Ellison to pit road on lap number 105. Ryan Dye follows him in as well.
All right, here we go. The strategy started. I kind of thought with 25 laps to go, that might be the number where they start coming in. And sure enough, we have a couple of takers here now. We'll have to see what the leaders do. Joe Yakes got burned bad on pit strategy the first time around.
Here he comes.
He's not going to get burned this time. He's coming to pit road.
Locks him up. No black flag, but man, he's going to lose a little bit of time on that one. Vrooman and Cantwell are on pit road as well. Michael Fish is on pit road. So 4 more drivers in the top 10 now. Coming to get service. Does Bartel wait, or does he come now?
I think he has to come now. I don't think he's got a choice. And he is slowing down. I think he is. He's coming down to pit road.
Here he comes.
Oh, wow. He looked like he was really hauling in there. He didn't lock him up too bad, though.
No, he did not. No black flags for anybody on this pit cycle as of yet. The Jacob Houston black flag. Speeding on pit entry for Jacob Houston. That just kind of adds to a pile-it-on sort of night for Houston. There's that top 10 pace this entire race. Oh, Ryan Dye is sideways in turn number 4. He saves it. Wow. He's going to lose 2 spots at least from the exchange. It was a solo spin, but an incredible save. No contact with anything, more importantly.
And Tommy, hopefully you can tell me, are stayers out? Is it Thomas, Smith, Poliski, and Rainey? Have all of them stayed out here?
Yes.
And of the pitters, Joe Yakes actually came out the best of pit stops. TJ Bartel in 6th, who is 2nd out of the pits. Ellison, Vrooman, Cantwell, Ryan Dye, is Langston on the lead lap now? He is, isn't he?
Yeah, it could be just because he is yet to pit. Oh, Dye's around again! Oh, he tagged somebody! The caution is out. Oh, my goodness. More problems for Ryan Dye. I believe he tagged, maybe it was Daniel Morey, as Morey tried to squeeze by.
Well, this is certainly gonna be an interesting show.
Oh my gosh. This is the exact situation that I I kind of wanted when I put this on the schedule. Now that it's here, I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, most of these drivers have just come down pit road to take their final set of tires. The drivers that didn't are going to have fresh tires, but with some work to do up through the field.
And you can see how Ryan Dye was trying to hold on to that thing all the way through turn 2. He does make a little bit of contact. I think that was... I don't know if that was Maury or not. Yes, it was. You were correct. So Dye with an ill-handling truck here. He had a couple of bobbles, and one of them, the latest one, is going to bring the caution out.
He stayed parked on the track there and necessitated the caution.
My tower overlay is a little messed up here. How many laps do we have to go? It's showing 19, but I know that's not correct.
Is it correct? That is correct, yeah.
That is correct. Well, it just looks really funky. It looks like there's another number behind the 19.
Huh. That is strange.
But nonetheless, we had a few that had to come down pit road to get new tires. Troy Thomas is going to be the furthest one up. He is in the 6th position. Thomas Poliski, Garrett Rainey are going to be among them. And I think Langston got the lucky dog. Is that right?
I believe so, yes. So that should put Langston back on the tail end of the lead lap here.
Actually, it looks like Troy Thomas hadn't come into pit yet. He is going to come in now.
A couple of trucks in front of the race leader, Salamone and Michael Fish are two of those trucks. They will be on the lead lap here once they get moved around the pace car. The other driver is Jacob Houston, who is now 1 lap down. He will also get waved around. All 3 of them will be on the tail end of the lead lap. And Ryan Dye just came over the radio and said, I can confirm that 2 tires was a miserable idea.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, we talked about it earlier, and he confirmed our suspicions that that is not something you want to do.
Andy Poliski comes over the radio and says, no, there's no talent.
Oh my gosh.
That's a meme if I've ever heard one.
And actually, we're going to have a few trucks that are trying to get laps back here.
Yake selects the bottom here. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Will Salamone and Michael Fish are getting their laps back. I think they'll be
they'll be on the lead lap yep.
now, correct? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Up front, Yakes and Bartell lead Ellison and Vrooman, Cantwell and Poliski, Garrett Rainey, Troy Thomas, Jeff Smith, Jeff Langston. They're now your top 10. Don't want to jinx it, but what a recovery thus far for Jeff Langston. Michael Fish, Will Salamone then are the last 2 drivers on the lead lap. Ryan Dye, Kyle Zittel, and Jacob Houston will be battling. As Bartell again laying way off here.
Maybe trying not to get a black flag like some that have come before him? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
not 100% certain. Something must be going on with the restart zoning. But no black flags this time. That is the good news. The bad news for everybody else is that Joe Yates is off and away.
Whoa! Somebody got really loose there. I think it was Poliski. And if these guys are trying to hammer down right now, it's going to be squirrely. Vrooman and Ellison almost got together there.
Ooh, tight quarters there, nearly 3 wide. Here comes Randy to the inside, or Poliski rather. Poliski to the inside of Ellison. Takes the spot.
Slots up in front of Ellison to take the 3rd position away. Yakes and Bartel have reassumed their former positions of 1st and 2nd. Joe Yakes says, "Thank you, sir. May I have another good restart?"
I don't think his work is over yet. TJ Bartel still looms about 0.4 of a second behind with 14 laps to go. But you're right, it was an awfully good restart for Yakes after Bartel lagged behind.
We have seen the first 10 laps of some of these restarts is pretty much single file. Nobody's really able to make any passes or gain a lot of momentum as everybody's on fresh tires. This is going to get interesting towards the end, though.
We have not seen Poliski up in the mix here at all tonight, and now he is starting to dog TJ Bartel for 2nd. Poliski to the bottom.
He's not able to take the spot, but still is able to carry momentum through the quad oval. Not quite enough, though. He's going to fall in behind Bartel for now.
He will have a little bit fresher tires than both of these two up front.
A little bit farther back, Cantwell and Jeff Smith are battling. Cantwell's going to go to the bottom now.
Oh, Troy Thomas tight there to the truck on his outside.
Poliski back to the inside of Bartel for the 2nd position as well. Into 3, through turns 3 and 4 now.
Poliski's going to get the spot, and I'm not too sure that he doesn't have his sights set on the lead.
He's wasn't quite clear yet. He's still not able to fall in front. He is now. We'll see if Bartel has some momentum coming out of turn 2, though.
Less than half a second to work with.
Whoa! Trouble in the back! Oh, and they all saved it. No, the caution's going to fly. There were a lot of trucks out of shape down the backstretch, down on the apron. I don't think anybody actually went around.
Yeah, that was a preemptive caution on my part there. Our race controller disappeared halfway through this race, so I've picked up the duties here. And thought it was all going to start stacking up there.
I'm going to go back and see if I can find a replay. I'm going to go back to, it looked like a lot of it started with Troy Thomas, who's actually in the pits now. I shouldn't say started with him, but that's who I saw was sideways. We're going to go ahead and take the far chase view here and see what happens. Jeff Smith, and that is Cantwell in front of him right now. I think might have actually made contact first. You can see them battling very closely here through turns 1 and 2. as we are going to let this play. And Smith does just get to the outside of Cantwell. And they are just running very close together. Cantwell is trying to get a good run off the corner. They just come together. And Thomas, who didn't really lock it up, he was trying to squeeze past those two, ends up getting tagged by Cantwell and is hard into the inside wall. That is what's going to put him into the pits for right now. And yeah, they were all spread out pretty good there for a little bit. I can see why you're going to throw that one. I think I would have done the same myself.
So we're restarting pretty close to 5 laps to go, if not right on the number. As it's now Poliski and Yates, the top two. Lights are still on the pace car here.
I'm not so sure that TJ Bartel's not in a good spot here, though, starting right behind Joe Yakes. We might have to talk about if we need to wave black flags for people starting on the top side here. I would hate for some. Well, we've already had possibly a couple. We don't really know the reasons exactly. But
yeah, not 100% sure.
And for those of you watching at home, and this is not 77 laps to go. I know that's kind of what it looks like on the tower.
Bit of overlay problems, I think.
But the tower overlay has decided to go defunct on me here. So it's still doing its job showing who's in what place, but just a little bit of an issue showing how many laps we have left in the race.
Joe Yakes has looked great out front all race long. Go ahead.
He has. He's had good restarts, too. I thought we might see somebody try to maybe come in and get 4 fresh tires. I think.
I don't know if anybody has any left.
I wasn't
to be honest
sure.
with you.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, now that you mention it, I think they would have used their third sets by now. So. That's where strategy comes into play here at Truck 200. Only 3 tire sets, and you got to make them last, especially here at a track like Atlanta, the 2008 version anyways.
Coming to 5 to go. Poliski is, I believe, yet to lead a lap unless he led one under the flag pit cycle. But Joe Yakes, I'm sure, has led the most laps this race. TJ Bartel, I'm sure, is a close second. Paul Ellison has seen some time out front as well. Steve Vrooman, last week's winner, in 5th. Garrett Rainey has had a pretty good comeback from being a couple of laps down in 6th. Yakes and Poliski. To the restart zone, green flag.
Whoa, trouble!
Oh, trouble!
And the yellow flag is going to fly. Langston was involved in it as well as a few more.
Big problems out back.
And I think this is going to take us into overtime by at least 1 lap.
So Fish and Langston kind of stack up on the restart. Some bumpers get hooked. Ryan Dye makes some pretty significant contact there with Jeff Langston as well.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the replay here. This is Langston in the 1, starting behind Vrooman. And as we get moving here, yeah, the field just stacks up a little bit, and the 20 of Michael Fish is right on his bumper, goes to the middle. He tries to go back in behind Langston and just wasn't clear. He had actually gotten up into his right rear quarter panel. That's going to turn him. He gets into Jacob Houston as well when he gets turned around, as you mentioned, Ryan Dye. So Ryan Dye has had a rough go here in the last quarter of the race. So it's going to be a dash, Tommy.
Yes, it will.
Things were a little bit chippy on that restart. I don't know what the driver chat was like, but things got stacked up, and there wasn't anywhere for a couple of people to go that really wanted to go. So I don't think with an overtime restart it's going to be any better.
Yeah, we're about to find out. That was caution number 4 on the race. I mean, it was pretty clean up until right in the middle of our second green flag pit cycle. And it's just kind of snowballed from there. What do we always say?
Cautions? What do they do?
Absolutely. They breed, and they breed a lot, apparently. We're going to overtime.
Lights
are still on the pace
on.
car.
Yep.
I'm glad that green white checkers ended up on this session. It's one of the only things that's gone right up until this point tonight.
All right, we didn't even really get to see how that restart was going to take shape. I was actually a little bit too focused on the action in the back. Did you get to see if Poliski got a good restart with Yakes on that one?
He got as good of a restart as I think we've seen anybody get. That's I'm not sure if that really answered your question or not, but yeah, he was digging hard there on the outside.
Well, I think we found some of our best up in the front, as we normally do, as we always do. I guess I should say Yakes, who has led a lot of laps here tonight, has shown considerable speed, especially on the short run. He's going to be starting first and looking to get another great restart. He's had multiple already here tonight. He's looking to do it one more time, and definitely the most important one.
Joe Yakes, Andy Poliski, TJ Bartell, Paul Ellison, Steve Vrooman, the top 5, Garrett Rainey, Jeff Smith, Michael Fish, Will Salamone, and Ryan Dye at the top 10. Kyle Zittel back on the lead lap in P11. Jacob Houston 1 lap down in 12th. Jeff Langston is in the pits in 13th. Daniel Murray is out on the track in 14th. He may pick up a couple of spots before this one is all said and done. Is one going to be enough here at Atlanta? It's race number 2 on the season, so let's do 2 more. Why not? Yakes and Poliski. Green flag. Yakes off to a great start.
This one looks clean for the time being. Yakes with another good jump. Bartell is going to be in tow.
Poliski and Vrooman side by side for third behind. White flag is out. Poliski digging hard. Don't count him out of this one yet. Bartel looks topside. Yakes down to the bottom.
Bartel
Huge head of steam.
Yeah, looking to use that momentum off the top. Poliski into the wall. He corrals it. It's going to stack up the field, though. It's Bartel and Yakes.
Roman and Olsen split Poliski side by side. They're going to be 3 wide out of turn number 4. Up front, Joe Yakes is going to hang on to it to win the HotLanta 200.
And they wreck behind him.
Poliski tags Vrooman. Vrooman takes third. Poliski falls back to 4th. Ellison in 5th. And I think there are a lot of people who are going to be happy to see this one over. And maybe Joe Yakes, who is going to park it in victory lane here tonight. That was an interesting race for a lot of different reasons, but you can't knock the drivers who did a pretty damn good job out on track here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we gave them a tough task here tonight at Legacy Atlanta, and they delivered. We saw all kinds of action, a lot of strategy in the beginning of the race, and then it all got thrown out the window towards the end. But it's the 87 of Joe Yakes that is going to take the checkered flag here tonight, and well-deserved. And he is absolutely burning the house down.
Burn him down, why not? Why not?
Well, he's going to take a nice little stroll backwards through Legacy Atlanta. What do you say we go ahead and get to our final results for the evening?
Absolutely. Joe Yakes, your winner. Already in the waiting for interview channel. We hope to talk to TJ Bartel, who has finished runner-up here tonight. A great recovery from his Talladega. For both of these drivers. They finished 1-2 after, I believe, 2 DNFs at Talladega. Steve Vrooman then will round out your podium. Second consecutive podium for Steve Vrooman in as many races. Andy Poliski then slips back to 4th after making contact with the outside wall there. And then Paul Ellison rounds out your top 5. Garrett Rainey will bring it home in the 6th position. Will Salamone finishes P7 for the second consecutive race. Michael Fish will finish in 8th. Jeff Smith in 9th. And Kyle Zittel, decent recovery there after the penalty. He will round out the field, or round out the top 10, rather. Ryan Dye finishes P11. Then he's the last truck on the lead lap. Jacob Houston will finish in 12th. Daniel Morey, I believe, still running at the finish, will finish in 13th, 5 laps down. Troy Thomas finishes 14th. Jeff Langston in 15th. Adam Cantwell can't finish the race. He finishes 16th, 9 laps down after a great start to the race and running the top 5 pretty much the entire time. Jeff Langston, or rather Len McNeese in 17th. Hunter Leach, DNF in 18th. Jeremy McKinnon, DNFs from here on out. Jeremy McKinnon, 19th. Kyle Dumick, 20th. Jack Kilduff, 21st. Miguel Correa in 22nd. All right, let's go ahead and talk to your podium finishers here. And just by the hair on your chinny chin there at the line, Steve Vrooman is going to be your third-place finisher here tonight. Congrats again on another podium.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Great talking to you again.
It's that was. I know you really didn't have much of a choice there coming into the final set of turns there, but splitting Andy Poliski there 3 wide for the 3rd spot, that was a bold move.
Yeah, it got kind of crazy there at the end, and those guys, we all raced pretty clean, kept it off each other for the most part, except for right there at the end, which you can't help that at all. But it was a great race there at the end with those guys.
Absolutely. Matt, what do you got for Steve?
Well, Steve, I don't think anybody knows what it's like running side by side with our drivers here tonight quite like you do. Seemed like you were side by side with somebody all night long. What was it like here at a tough track in Legacy, Atlanta, to try to maneuver the track when you're side by side with somebody around this place?
Oh yeah, that was definitely a lot of fun. Had a lot of good battles there, and I figured out that the top line there was the best place to be. I couldn't make my truck run side by side with somebody being down on the bottom, so I just tried to protect that top line and get a good run off the corners and down the straightaways.
Another podium for you here tonight after the big win in Talladega last week. Shout-outs for you tonight.
Yeah, once again, thank my teammates there at Broke Guys Racing and our sponsors at None of Your Beeswax Apiary. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll see you tomorrow night for some Venom Truck Series action.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
All righty, there's your third place finisher. We're going to go ahead and bring in our runner-up now. It is Mr. TJ Bartell. A hard-fought second place here tonight, but man, it was a rare occurrence to see you outside of the top three all night long. You had that truck on rails. Congrats on a P2 finish here tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, truck was really good. Just trying to keep my track position as best I could and manage tires. It's kind of a balancing act, but I think we did pretty decent tonight.
I would agree. What was the toughest part of the race all night, do you think?
For me, not screwing up on pit road and then not making any mistakes on restarts.
It seemed like that was easy to do here tonight on the restarts. I don't know what was going on the restarts, but Matt, what do you got for TJ?
Well, TJ, at the beginning of the race, we had quite a few green flag laps. We thought we might be able to go all the way through, and strategy was really going to be the premium there. What was your strategy coming into a race like this?
Well, I was going to see, where I lined up track position-wise and then kind of go off there. I had a loose idea in my head. I wanted to pit on lap 44 and then 44 laps later, give or take, and just kind of see how it played out. And when I saw the guys behind me pit before me on the first stop, I figured I'm going to go ahead and pit a little bit earlier if I can and kind of leapfrog the leader and see if I can't hang on to it. And it worked out. Got on pit road pretty well. Thought I was going to speed, but made it by the nick. And I was looking pretty good then. He was catching me, but he wasn't catching me like Herculean, so I wasn't too worried then. I thought, I'm doing good. I can't do any better than the position I put myself in. So I was just going to let it run out and just try and, be even and smooth through the entire length of that next run.
Well, it looked pretty smooth for the entire night. So congrats on the P2. Who do you want to thank here tonight? You got any shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Truck 200 for having me. Turn 200, you guys do a great job broadcasting. I always like to go back and watch them. Like to thank my wife for letting me do this, and just thank the Lord above.
Absolutely. Got to thank all the sim wives and sim families for letting all the gentlemen step aside for a couple hours and come out and race with us. So congrats again on a P2, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow night at Nashville Super Speedway.
You betcha.
All righty. We'll see you then, partner.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Time to bring in the man of the hour. It is Joe Yakes, your second ever winner with Truck 200. Welcome to Booth 200, partner. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great.
I'll bet. So a big win for you here tonight. I mean, you from the drop of the green in practice to throughout the entire race, it looked like you were one of, if not the truck to beat, and you had that thing pretty much on rails all night long. Did it feel as steady as it looked?
No, I had my hands full tonight.
What were some of the big problems you were trying to overcome there?
Mostly just a general overall lack of grip that you have with this racetrack. I mean, the big thing with this track is you want to carry that speed, but you also want to look after the tires at the same time. And if you just cross that line a little bit, it wiggles the truck, especially running that bottom lane. But I've run so many races at this track that, even though there's a little bit more speed up on the top side, if you can commit to that bottom lane here, you're going to have a lot better tires over the course of the race. And just trying to get that and the pit strategies taken care of. I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Matt, what do you got for our race winner here?
Joe, congratulations. I know Tommy knows you a lot better than I do, so it's great to get you up here in the booth, especially with a win. Is Legacy Atlanta a place that you kind of know pretty well and you were maybe looking forward to, thought you might have an advantage, or were you really not sure coming into the race tonight?
I mean, I wouldn't say I was necessarily thinking I had an advantage, but this is a track that, I've been on iRacing for a very long time, and I've run so many laps at this racetrack. And this track has been really good to me and really bad to me at the same time, but it's been a bit more on the upswing. I mean, it was like 8 years ago or something. I got my first ever official truck win right here at this racetrack. So
wow.
I've always held a special place in my heart for this particular racetrack and configuration. And it's just, no matter what I'm dealing with, whether it's I'm struggling or I'm just lights out going out there, it's always fun to race on this racetrack.
Well, it's the first time we've got you in booth 200 here. We'll roll out the red carpet for you. Got shout outs here tonight. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, first off, I want to shout out my teammate Adam. We've been working well together with the HD Motorsports guys. And, of course, my teammates that aren't out there racing with me with Indy Autosport, they're all awesome, and they're out there cheering me on. And, I've got my streaming community on Glimish that have been following me around for a couple years now, and they were in the chat today cheering me on, and they're all celebrating with me. And it feels really good to come out here and race number 2 and be able to put this 87 truck in victory lane.
Absolutely. It's great to see it in victory lane. Matt and I talk about quite a few times on the stream how good the truck looks. It's a classic look. It's a look. I don't ever get to really see the front of it much. I usually am looking at the tailgate of it. But it's great to see the full perspective of the truck here. And congrats on the big win. Thank you for coming out and racing with us as well. It's a pleasure to have you in the league.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. I know you mentioned we raced in another league together back and forth. And, I just appreciate the invite to come out here and partake in these awesome, fun races.
Well, there you go. I think much more to come of Joe Yates here in booth 200. But for now, we'll leave it at career win number 1 and race number 2. Congrats on the big win here tonight.
Thank you.
All righty, partner. That's about all we got here from Atlanta. I want to say to wrap this night up with a bow.
Well, thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight, and thank you to everybody that watched our video from last week, the inaugural race of Truck 200. Really appreciate the support from everybody, and shout out to our drivers tonight. We know we gave you a tough one, and you delivered. It was a fun one. A lot of different strategies, but then also throwing the strategy out the window towards the end. It was a fun one to watch, so a special thank you to the drivers that have come out for the first season of Truck 200. We're hoping that you're enjoying it. I know that we are, and our fans are as well, and looking to continue that trend into the third race of the season.
Absolutely. Big thanks to all the drivers here tonight, whether they turned one lap or whether they made it the full distance here tonight. We wouldn't be having a league without drivers, so appreciate all of them coming out and spending time with us here in Truck 200 on turn 200. Our next race for Truck 200, I'm going to go double check this because I think I'm right. And indeed I am. It is the currently untitled 200K at the Glen. So 51 laps around the Cup layout of Watkins Glen. That'll be next Monday night. But before then, tomorrow night, we've got Nashville Super Speedway action for you for the Venom Truck Series. So Nashville Super Speedway tomorrow. Next Monday will be... Sorry, I just got distracted. Next Monday will be Watkins Glen. So a couple of exciting races here tomorrow night and next Monday. We hope you can join us here for both of them. Thank you all for coming out here tonight and hanging out with us, and for hitting like on the stream, hitting subscribe, commenting with us throughout the night. Thanks to Stephen C., Chris Collins, Major E-Fall, Kevin Cochran, and everybody else that watched here tonight. We couldn't do it without your support. Until we meet again, for the greatest stream producer of all time, that is the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. I have been Tommy Cook, and until we meet again here on Turn 200, we say so long from virtual Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway, where Joe Yates pulls off the big win here in the ATL.